Dad won't respect my boundaries after I was assaulted. My uncle groped me back in October. Since then I've been upset about being touched, especially by men. Told my dad I'm not comfortable with hugs or any touch anymore. He doesn't care. He's tried to touch and hug me at least 4 separate times now. I keep saying yuck, stop, I don't like that. And he angrily storms off each time. Just now, he snuck up behind me when my back was turned and started to rub my shoulders in a very creepy way. A way he would never touch my brother. So why me? I told him again I don't like being touched. He walked away pissy. He doesn't care about my boundaries. He's creepy for touching me in ways he wouldn't touch my male brothers. My younger brother has Asperger's and doesn't like touch. So my dad doesn't touch him. He respects his wishes. Mine? Not at all. It's almost like he thinks I owe him touch just for being his daughter. He calls me disrespectful all the time. I'm sure he's off thinking I'm disrespecting him right now. This sounds so stressful. I'm sorry you're dealing with this. Sometimes when people aren't listening, and especially when they're playing the victim, I find it helpful to kind of play stupid. If you're having a fight or flight adrenaline response triggered, you may not be able to do this, but rehearsal can sometimes help. He uses your, very justified, totally appropriate, anger to play the victim. What if you sidestepped/pulled away and acted confused? Dad, we've talked about how scared and uncomfortable that makes me. Why would you want me to feel that way about you? You respect brother's wishes not to be touched. Why am I different? If it's safe to pester him, don't let it drop, but continue to be as calm and confused as possible, not angry. This is obviously really important to you because it keeps happening. I don't want to forget it. I want to talk about it. I want to feel safe around you. Best of luck. I hope you're able to get out soon. I think it's time your dad hears some hard truths. I'm going to be harsher than you may feel comfortable or even agree with, but hopefully I'll at least give you some ideas. Dad, the more you ignore my clear and decisive no, the more I am convinced you are perving on me. I know you know what happened to me, but your actions are telling me you don't care. I'm starting to think being a molester runs in the family. The way you force your affection on me makes me feel objectified and disgusting. In fact, your touch makes me want nothing more than to scrub my skin raw to get rid of the sensation. Every time you violate my consent and bodily autonomy, I feel more afraid of you. You are scaring me, Dad. I'm afraid you're going to ignore my consent in more ways than just forcing hugs or grabbing me. I don't want to be afraid of you, but you are really scaring me. If you don't want me afraid of you, you need to stop forcing your touch on me. It feels exactly the same as what Uncle did to me. It doesn't matter if it's platonic to you. It is not platonic to me, and I can't help but notice you're happy to accept a no from brother. I really need you to stop, because you are re-traumatizing me and I feel like I'm being groped by my own dad. You have every right to have control over who touches you. Is your mom, or other female relative, in the picture that can knock some sense into him? She's tried talking to him, too. He still continues. So he's got 2 people approach him about this and still hasn't cared to stop, or care to ask, are you ready to be touched yet? Or can I hug you? Nope. He just grabs me and goes for it. Doesn't even care to ask if I'm feeling different yet. He thinks that if he can somehow get you over your unease related to touch, he can move life closer to normal. It's the sort of selfish thing we do without realizing it. In a way, I think he's trying to fix it while knowing he can't, so he's trying to push you through your healing faster so you can all just be happy. Again, it needs to be mentioned that it's selfish, but I try phrasing it like that and giving him a chance to think about it from that perspective. Were you comfortable with hugs and touch before? Could this be a totally stupid, ignorant way for him to try to show he cares? And that he is so stumped at how to handle it, so he just does everything wrong in an attempt to bring you back to before the groping happened? Don't get me wrong, even if this is pure ignorance and stupidity on his part, it is not okay. Like, at all. And he needs to understand that. Regardless, you should talk about it, explain how this makes you feel when you're not in a hugging/reacting situation. I've explained to him before I'm simply uncomfortable with touch for the time being, yet this still happens. He won't ask, is it okay if I hug you? He'll just forcefully grab my arm or something in attempt to pull me in for a hug until I tell him to stop. I'm visible pissed off when he does this, So if he thinks he's helping me and not just upsetting me more, his IQ is in the nether region. It's really upsetting me that I keep having to tell him over and over to cut it out. He storms off like I'm the asshole and he's the victim, instead of vice versa. Would it be weird for me, 13M, to start referring to my stepsister, 17F, as my sister and call my stepdad Dad? My sister was a piece of shit to say the least, and thankfully she's out of my life, and she has been for a while. But my moms and stepdad have been together for 6 years, and me and my stepsister have lived together for 4 years. And we've grown pretty close, at least I think we have. She always talked about how she wished she had a little brother, or even a little sister, but she never did. And she's honestly kinda like one of my best friends. Edek what I would call her, BC. I feel like just calling her sister is weird. But also I don't always just want to call her name, if that makes sense. And my stepdad is a lot better than my dad too. And luckily I'm only seeing my dad every other weekend. For some reason he still wants at least some custody, even though he treats me like shit and doesn't seem to care about me at all. Whereas my stepdad is kinda what I think my dad should be like. He teaches me a lot of useful life skills. He actually supports me. He helps me with stuff. We do stuff together. We can actually talk without it turning into a screaming match. All that fun stuff. And I'd like to start calling him dad, but I feel like it would be really awkward. And he still calls me his stepson. So what if like he doesn't want me to call him dad? I'm thinking about just talking to my mom about this, but I'd if I should. You could always call you stepsister sis, since it's slang, and see how she reacts. Smile. To be fair, I don't think siblings usually call each other bro or sis. I mean, I just call my brother by a childhood nickname, and most of my friends call their siblings by their real names. My stepdaughter calls me dad. Go for it. Smile. Maybe next time they do something nice for you, be like thanks sis, or you're the best, dad. I'm sure that'll melt his heart. The first time I called my stepdad dad in front of him, I was talking to a neighbor and said it very casually. He apparently told my mom, who obviously told me about it. Lol, he got misty-eyed. And he's not a very emotional man, let me tell you. There's absolutely nothing weird about being loving. Think that's super sweet. No, not at all. So how would I do it? Like just be like hey dad instead of saying his name, or saying like I love you, dad, or should I ask him if it's okay? Same with my stepsister. Do it, bet $5 your stepdad will cry out of happiness. He doesn't cry much. Like the last time I saw him cry was when his dog died, but even then it was just some tears. Ugly chick here. A guy finally likes me and I don't want to introduce him to my friends or family. Ugly young woman here. I always have the hot friends. Guys come to me to introduce them to my pretty sisters or my friends. I am not the one men see as attractive or anything. My sisters are both gorgeous, and even married men will be my friend just to get close to them. Men I find attractive, I don't even acknowledge because I just embarrass myself. It's always been this way and I am used to it. It's not severe insecurity talking, I am just not a pretty person. So I've been seeing this guy and he is nice, and I am attracted to him. This is a rare thing for me. I don't get a lot of men, especially single, normal men. Most guys just wanna use me for down low, bad sex, when they aren't trying to use me to get to my friends. I told my family about him and they were happy for me. My little sister said I should really think about locking him down since I never really get any boyfriends, which is annoying because she gets very handsome boyfriends but they never last. But that was the consensus. Marry him because I am ugly and other guys aren't into me. I get it. I guess it's a beggars can't be choosers situation, but it's not like the Disney princess movies I grew up with. The second thing is I feel very insecure about introducing him to my sisters and friends. I am just not good looking. I know he will feel attracted to them like everyone else. And I don't want to be with someone that finds my sisters or my friends attractive. I know that makes me insecure, and all of Reddit will tell me, oh, if they are attractive then they are attractive. Men can't help it. All I've ever wanted is for someone to only have eyes for me. you should introduce him to the family. I won't tell all that BS about men will always be men, not all men are like that. Love is for personality and little bit of looks, but looks only attract men that aren't going to settle down, love does. And I am not going to talk about body positivity. I am going to tell you what you are doing right now to yourself. You aren't judging your looks and your looks alone, you are comparing your looks to your siblings and friends. And that is very incorrect and is what caused your insecurities. If he loves you for who you are, then hold on to him, because loving a person for who they actually are is actual love. I know that because I am a man and know how men think. The only thing you can take control of in this situation is your own insecurities about your appearance. Everyone gets those insecurities. How you choose to tackle it is up to you. You could try a new look, start giving yourself positive reinforcement, or you could even seek proper help about it. I don't know you, but nobody is as ugly as they feel. This guy likes you and has chosen you, and that's all there is to it. Well, think of it this way. You can't have a relationship with a guy that you have to keep separate from everyone else you have a relationship with. Family, friends, etc. Frankly, if you're as ugly as you claim to be, I'm sure he sees or meets women more attractive than you on a regular basis. Yet he still is interested in you. Maybe he sees something in you that he doesn't see in other women. Once I had an elderly neighbor. He was a handsome guy, in his youth and even in old age. His wife wasn't attractive at all. We had a conversation once and he gave me some advice. You see, his first wife was a model, she was vain, entitled and a genuinely nasty person. Needless to say, that marriage failed. His next wife, well, despite of her lack of curb appeal, she treated him very well and was a genuinely good person through and through. That marriage lasted until she passed away in advanced old age. My point is that looks aren't everything. They matter, but everything else matters too. I'd rather be with a woman who's got it where it counts. Beauty fades, but one's good character just gets better as they plot along that bumpy road of life. Enjoy the relationship and be happy. If it fails, it fails. No sense in making yourself unhappy in the meantime. Now I want to see what you look like. Smiley face. Shallow curiosity aside, I think when you find the right guy, be it this guy or some other guy, he's going to love you for a lot more than your looks. Looks fade. Everyone gets ugly, old, wrinkly, grey, flabby, etc. A lot of grown-ass men know this. You probably have worked a lot more on yourself and your personality than others who have spent a lifetime skating by on good looks. The right guy is going to appreciate that and have eyes only for you, whether or not you're really as ugly as you say you are. There's always going to be hotter people out there. He chose you though. Introduce him to the fam. I mean, you can't hide them forever.